This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena. Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the island of Grand Bahama, the scene of yet another homicide, pushing the murder count on this northern island to 6 for the year. Police say this latest incident appears to have been a home invasion gone wrong, resulting in the death of the brother of the homeowner. Sean Davis Rolle has our top story.
This latest homicide taking police investigators to an area of Freeport known as Over the Bridge, to a palatial canal front home which sits on several acres of land and where police say a crime involving violence.
While at home, 3 male broken into their residence. One was allegedly armed with a handgun and the other armed with a machete. Robbed the occupants of the home.
And death unfolded.
An altercation occurred between one of the assailants and one of the occupant of the home, which resulted in the occupant, who was a male Caucasian, being fatally shot.
According to reports, a tragic incident which involved 3 masked men occurred at about 7:30 Tuesday morning. But the police say they were not alerted about the ordeal until 2 hours later at 9:30 a.m. Officers were seen at strategic points surrounding the perimeter of the densely populated area. As more investigators, including medical officials led by pathologist Dr. Mandy Pettigan, moved in, the media was kept at bay, first at a relatively close proximity to the home, but then the crime tape was extended, pushing members of the press further away. As the police searched for clues, family members and friends, one of whom had to be consoled, began turning up, only to be turned away. Hours later, a hearse arrived, and less than half an hour, it departed. This latest homicide marks the 4th in 2 weeks, something police officials describe as unprecedented, hence in making this appeal.
The appeal that we are sending to the residents of Grand Bahama, to be vigilant, to be very, very careful, and to be observant of your surroundings, and to secure your premises. Any abnormal activity around your home, call us, report the incident to us, so we can come and check it out. But anything that's abnormal, call the police and be vigilant.
Joan Davis Rolle, ZNS Network News.
Well, today's murder is the 4th in just over a week. Last week, the Garden Villas community was the scene of 2 fatal shootings just hours apart. Last night, the Reach Out organization and a number of social partners combining resources to spread a message of peace to that area commonly called the ghetto. Coordinator Dudley Said, along with several pastors and other concerned citizens, assembled to discourage crime and violence and to call for conflict resolution. Youth leader out of Nassau, Carlos Reed, was one of the speakers at the event.
Because for far too long, Freeport and other family islands believe that we concentrate so much on Nassau and not on Freeport and other family islands. So we thought it from the Ministry of National Security standpoint to come down here to let us know that we're concerned about what's going on down here. The main focus in us coming down here is that we don't want Freeport to get the way Nassau is. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that don't happen. Parents need to stop being parents. Parent your children. Parent your children. Fathers father your children. Mothers be mothers to your children. God didn't call you to be friends. They called you to be parents. Be parents. The average gang person, they join the gang because they're looking for the attributes that you should be able to get in the normal family. Give them what they need and you ain't gonna have to worry about them going in the gangs.
Pastor Simeon Oughton was one of the many pastors giving support to the Peace Initiative. He and coordinator Dudley Said have pledged to take the peace message to other areas of the island.
Knowing what is going on here Freeport in the ghetto, I had no other choice but to come and show my support and to let this community know that I'm standing with them, and we are not interested in that type of activity that has occurred a few weeks ago, where we lost 2 of our young men, and now we have more than 2 because a few have just been charged before the courts with those murders. And so we are here to let Garden Villas know that we are a part of them, and we feel their pain, and we want to help them, bring them out of those circumstances and situations that they find themselves in.
There's a lot of young kids, families, in the Garden Villas community today. It's what a blessing. It did my heart well. I was fasting and praying for God's blessings, and today is a wonderful day. We speak life in the Garden Villas community, so it's a beautiful time to see pastors from the Catholic, Baptist, all different churches here today, Pastor Simeon, all different pastors here today, just to let the guys know that we care about them, and we let them know there's peace in Grand Bahama. That's why we're here today.
In other news, a 30-year-old man of 8 Mile Rock, Grand Bahama is in police custody after he was reportedly found in possession of illegal firearms and ammunition. The arrest taking place around 4 p.m. yesterday when DEU officers acting on information went to Graveyard Corner in 8 Mile Rock, where they searched the mail and discovered a .38 special revolver with 3 live rounds of ammunition. Police say investigations are continuing. Also in news this evening, ZNS News called to the scene of an apparent accident downtown this afternoon. When our news team arrived on the scene, we met a police motorcyclist lying on the ground. Reports say he may have been pursuing a vehicle when he fell off. A large number of onlookers were on the scene, outraged that there was a delay in medical attention for the officer. The traffic cop was taken to hospital. Reports say his injuries are not life-threatening. Now, we were unable to confirm with police officials the actual details surrounding the apparent incident, but police officials say investigations are continuing into this matter. And 6 Cuban men rescued at sea and brought to Grand Bahama yesterday. Reports tell us that the men were on their way to Miami, having left Cuba on Friday in a small boat, but they were intercepted by a U.S. Coast Guard ship on Sunday just off the Key Sal Bank. The Cuban migrants were turned over to the Defense Force around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, brought to Freeport and handed over to immigration officials. The migrants are currently being processed and will be transported to the nation's capital to the detention center. A local member of parliament taking issue with the situation in a government housing subdivision. He is questioning why so many government homes have been languishing for months when hundreds of Bahamians have applied to become homeowners. Sabrina Brown has the details.
Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama Nico Grant says he's concerned that some 20 houses in the Wellington-Pender Heights subdivision in Hawksville have been completed for more than 2 years, but they're still not occupied.
You would note that the pine trees are growing up through a number of them. Many of them have been vandalized, and the carpet thieves have struck, taking out all the wiring. The question I posed this morning is, why are these houses unoccupied? You can see we're standing on a well-paved road. You can see power has been connected to a number of the houses, and there's definitely water available.
Grant says he finds this situation troubling as the Ministry of Housing has thousands of applicants waiting for homes.
With over 3,000 applicants on file, can we not find 20 persons that qualified? It is unacceptable, and it is a national disgrace that we've got 20 houses in this development that are unoccupied, haven't been completed for over 2 years, and it deserves an explanation.
Wilfred Bevins is one of the contractors for the Wellington-Pender subdivision. He says the situation will only cost the government more money.
Definitely you will have to do some serious inspection, and I know you have to go all through the electrical inspection again and repairing windows and doors, and you probably have to replace toilets. If I were in that position, I would say just give some people papers to move in, and they pay rent until they are qualified to meet their mortgage.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Now, we contacted office manager at the Department of Housing on Grand Bahama, Mary Mizik, who confirmed that there are a lot of applications for homes on file. However, she said due to the sluggish economy, many of the applicants have not been able to qualify. Nonetheless, she said some of those homes have already been assigned to persons who did qualify, but there is a lengthy process that has to be completed before the homes are occupied. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.